100% on the tough tundra. Wherever life leads, there's a Toyota for you. Right here at Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires April 30th. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
Paid for by Steel Man Pills. 800-261-7365. 800-261-7365. 800-261-7365. That's 800-261-7365.
If you think dangerous blood clots can't happen to you, think again. Up to 900,000 men, women, and children are affected by blood clots each year, and about 100,000 die from them. Blood clots don't discriminate. You or a loved one could be at risk right now. The good news is blood clots can be prevented. Knowing the risks and symptoms are key. Major risks for blood clots include a family or personal history of blood clots, a recent hospitalization or surgery, pregnancy and cancer and its treatments. Symptoms of a blood clot in the legs or arms can include pain, swelling, and skin that is warm to the touch, red, or discolored. Symptoms of blood clots in the lungs include difficulty breathing, chest pain that worsens with a deep breath, or a cough, coughing up blood, and a faster than normal or irregular heartbeat. Speak with a doctor about your risk for blood clots and seek medical attention if you have any symptoms. On average, one person in the United States dies of a blood clot every 6 minutes. Don't let that be you or someone you know. Stop the clot. Spread the word. Learn more at stoptheclot.org/spread the word.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got in the bag.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros, interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
I feel good.
And good Tuesday morning. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You can also watch us and listen on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. Go over to your phone and your Apple or your Google Play Store, whichever you have, and download our free mobile app, Jay. It's free. It's got awesome contests, good content, and you can listen to us live wherever you go. You just need to search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Also, head over to our TikTok page, Inside.Drive, and get some more content up there this week. Looking forward to pulling some of the stuff we had last week and, of course, this week as well. And then last but not least, it is Best of Bay nomination time. You can head over to ESPNPC.com. Click at the top of the page where it says Best of Bay. Nominate the Coach James Hale Show, the Inside Drive, and the Afternoon Underdogs. Get us all three in there. We'd love to have just a ESPN Northwest Florida competition. That would be a lot of fun if you think we're worthy, and hopefully you do, and we appreciate you guys as always. Again, that's at ESPNPC.com, and you just click Best of Bay at the top of the page, and it takes you right where you need to go. You doing all right today, Jay Henley?
Doing great, man. I've been a part of this Chamber of Commerce weather we've been having, thanks to Joanna. Joanna's got this forecast right and tight.
It always seems like, the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce golf tournament is Thursday and Friday at Bay Point Golf Club, and it always seems, it's been in April since the COVID switch, because it used to be in the fall, if I'm not mistaken, but it seems like always when that tournament comes around, spring is sprung, and as you mentioned, we may hit a little inland areas, may hit a little 9 on Friday.
It's a little too early. Is it too early for that?
It's a little too early, but there's also a pretty strong heat wave going through. I know up in like St. Louis and places like that, it's in the 80s already. But there's a cold front. It's going to knock that down a little bit. But I think the forecast for us over the next 10 days looks absolutely spectacular.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot of lessons this afternoon?
A lot, yeah. I mean, with the good weather brings people to the lesson tee, and I've got a pretty full day today. It's already been a big day. So
that's good. And if you want to add anybody to your schedule, where do they go?
Golfwithjay.com.
Golfwithjay.com. That's the place for all your instructional needs when it comes to golf. Or if you just want to hang out with Jay for an hour. You don't have to be a golfer. You can be a eligible bachelorette, and they can go to golfwithjay.com and spend an hour with you on the driving range. You don't even have to hit a shot.
You never know. I mean, there's marriage counseling involved sometimes, philosophical. We can go wherever you want to go.
That's it. It doesn't have to be golf.
No.
Just because it's golfwithjay.com doesn't mean it has to be golf related, although it will be at Bay Point Golf Club.
Yes, it will.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Also want to give a shout out last night, the PC Padres in the Bay County Rec Baseball League had a big victory, 12-11 in 4 innings. We had a barn burner last night. And Sawyer Kramer actually hit a inside the park home run, 2 of them, but the second one was even prettier, just down the first baseline, got into the corner, and that gave us the extra run in the top of the third that proved to be the one. Nice. But I do got to mention John Keel. He's played on our flag football team. Great family. I saw one of the best things of sportsmanship last night. It was in the 3rd inning, and Liam was on the mound. Gray was catching, and Luke was on first. And it was a drop third strike, so you can run to first. And Gray chased him down, clearly tagged him, but neither one of the umpires saw it, so they were going to call him safe at first. But John Keel told the umpires he was out.
Oh, wow.
Walked off the field. Everybody gave him a great clap, because that's the stuff that U Sports is all about.
Absolutely.
So I know JK, as we call him on Dynasty Flag Football, very well, and I was proud to see that, and that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Because you see a lot of things go the other way in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. So in a very critical moment in the game, I thought that was a really cool thing he did. And you got something really cool in your life with your daughter as well, right?
I do. I got the phone call this morning. She is valedictorian for Bay Virtual Schools this year, so she called me this morning. She said, "Dad, I've got to do a speech on May 16th. And I'm like, well, you got plenty of time to, get it all together and, do it.
Yeah, so absolutely.
We may invite her on the show.
You should.
To kind of get the butterflies out.
Now, before I make a joke, I'm going to say that is a huge deal, and congratulations to your daughter, Peyton, for being the valedictorian. The second part of that is, how the hell did that happen?
It's in every other generation.
Every other, that's right. If Wanda's listening, that's where it came from. Wanda and Papa Henley, right?
That's right.
There you go. But seriously, that's a fantastic feat and very, very impressive.
I'm proud.
And as you should be. So good stuff there. Good stuff there.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, poll question today. You had a good one, and we're going to get off the sports-related poll questions again. Obviously, the Masters happened last week, and we were kind of really going heavy in Masters week last week. But you had one you came up with this morning, and let's discuss.
We go to the gas station every time, right? And you've got those options. You've got diesel, and you've got 87, 89.
Well, if you don't drive a diesel vehicle, that's not an option.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when you stick the diesel nozzle into a regular gas, it doesn't fit.
Okay, good, because I've never done that. So,
okay.
But good to know that you have this experience again, Peyton. Congratulations on being valedictorian. But the overcoming there.
But you've got 87, 89, 93 option. Now, I don't know what those numbers mean.
93 is 21 years ago, too, by the way.
Oh, really?
Does that have to do with years, or is it something different?
I don't know.
Anyway, continue with your poll question.
But the amount of octane.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I always go 87.
Yeah, me too.
But
even if my car tells me to not go 87, I'm going 87.
Absolutely. I mean, gas is gas, but
right?
Yeah. But I wonder if there's anybody out there that actually does go for that 93.
Oh, I guarantee it.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. But see, I think the 93 sits there and it's stale.
Because it's not as used as much.
Yeah, I think it's been sitting there for 20 years.
What happens if you go to a gas station and the 87's out? Do you leave the gas station?
Yes. Yeah, but I don't do 89.
What if you don't have enough gas to leave the gas station and go to another one?
I'll go $2 of 89 and then go find an 87.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
I'm back here dying, but I'm in the same boat as you. I ain't putting no daggum 89 in this old truck.
Yeah.
No, sir.
We were coming back. Ironically, we were coming back from a baseball game. I think it was out in Callaway a couple weeks ago, and we stopped at a gas station because we needed gas because we drive all over God's green earth in Bay County for our kids. I say we, Beth. And they only had the 89. 87 was out. So I put like $10 worth of that in, and then we stopped again later on. So I'm in the same boat. And I'm sure there are some car mechanics and people out there that say, yeah, it makes your engine run longer, not as much, all that, but 87.
Prove it to me.
Yeah, we need a study.
And I've heard some wise men tell me it's like, hey, once a month, it's always good to feed your car a good, steak. You know what I'm saying? You want to feed them a good steak and go 93. Don't feed them. Don't feed your car 87.
But you don't do that.
But I don't do that.
No. It seems what was I going to say? Irresponsible to do something like that. But hey,
so what is the verbiage that we're looking for on this poll?
Do you put in? We'll just go 93 versus 87, or you want to throw the 89 in there too?
Gots to have all three.
Okay, then just put which octane do you use, despite what type of car you drive.
Yeah,
and you don't even have to put that in there. Just put what kind of octane you use: 87, 89, or 93. Yeah. Now, if you're diesel, obviously you have to use diesel.
Right. Yeah.
But, yeah, apparently the diesel nozzle does not fit in a regular tank.
It does not. I didn't. So you did not know
No, because I've never tried to put diesel in my... I've never driven a diesel car, so...
Yeah.
And again, Peyton, congratulations on being valedictorian. You've overcome a lot, and it's pretty impressive.
She has.
Oh, man. Jeez. That's a good poll question. I'm glad we're back on track with the right poll questions there.
Yes.
That's for sure. All right, some quick local score updates from yesterday as we had a walk-off upset yesterday in varsity baseball, and then Jay, we'll get to your tip of the week here as it is Tuesday. So you never prepare, so don't act like you're surprised. All right, in varsity softball, Arnold goes to 19-2 after beating Holmes County 1-0, and then still on the softball side of things, Walton beat Bozeman 6-5. Walton's now 10-9, and Bozeman is 5-10. And then in a walk-off upset last night, Bay Tornadoes beat the Arnold Marlins 11-10. Bay improves to 10-9 in the season, and that is Arnold's second loss of the season there. And now their season is split 1-1 with Bay. So some good stuff going on there on the baseball side of things. That season's getting closer to winding down. You've got several games coming up tonight, and also you got the Junior Olympics going on over at Tommy Oliver Stadium for the small elementary schools today.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You sit on go?
I mean, not necessarily a swing tip, but it's golf related.
Okay.
It's Jay's golf tip of the week.
The sounder does say golf tip of the week.
It does, but I don't want to give away all my secrets.
Have you given away any yet? Rhythm and balance.
Rhythm and balance. Yeah, that's it. No, all right, so what about a ruling? Let's talk a little bit rule, right?
Okay.
So I've seen this done a little bit. Your ball comes up onto a cart path.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, this is one of my favorite ones. You see incorrect drops done all the time.
Right.
Taking relief from a cart path.
So I don't see everybody take full relief. Now, the thing is, if the ball's on the right part of a cart path.
Okay.
All right.
And you're a right-handed golfer.
And you're a right-handed golfer.
I like where we're going with this one.
Okay.
I used to enlighten people on this one all the time.
Right. So you've got to go ahead and create your stance outside of that cart
You have
path.
to take full relief.
Full relief.
There's no relief unless you take full relief.
That's right.
And you're not adhering to the rules of golf.
Yep.
Continue.
So you're going to take a 7-iron or whatever club you're going to use to hit, and you're going to go ahead and take a full stance away from the cart path.
Yes.
You're gonna set the club where it needs to be, and then you're going to set that tee where that ball. So there's your nearest point.
Yeah.
And then you're going to take a club length, from that. I've seen so many people not take that full relief and only use one club length, and it sometimes doesn't work to their advantage.
Absolutely. And one of the other things to that same point, right? So you got a cart path. You're a right-handed golfer.
Yep.
You draw a line right down the middle of that cart path. The ball was on the right side of that cart path. A lot of people think your nearest point of relief is on the right side of the cart path, where it's not because of what you said. You have to take full relief. So you have to take your stance and address the ball. So a lot of times you take relief on the left side of the cart path when your ball's on the right, because that's actually closer to where you were. And a lot of people don't realize that. And like you were saying too, like depending on what's on each side of the cart path, sometimes the rules can be in your advantage.
Absolutely.
You see that incorrectly done all the time.
Well, and I was caddying for Michigan Eddie's daughter over in Destin last weekend, and I love that point where I can teach like kids the actual, like, what do I do here?
Yeah.
And once you open that bottle, you know, for, let's say that happens on hole 2, you become that guy. You become the rules guy for the rest of that round. It's like, hey, Jay, come over here. We need that, you know, you become that guy. But that's what I just enjoy teaching the game of golf, yes, but also like teaching that aspect of it as well.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of rules that can benefit you should you know the rules of golf. And, you know, that's one of the things, like when you get up to the top level of golf, is typically you have a rules official nearby. I mean, even on the Masters on Sunday, I forget who it was, they couldn't tell if the ball was, because their fringe at Augusta is barely a fringe, but if it's in the fringe, you can't mark your golf ball and line it up. And I want to say it was Ludwig Aubert on number 7, if I'm not mistaken, and he waited a little bit for a rules official to come over to see if he was on the green or just in the fringe. The rules official ended up saying it was in the fringe, so he wasn't able to mark his ball and then putt. But yeah, there's definitely some stuff there when it comes to the rules.
And I'll take it even deeper to the aspect of, I remember as a kid growing up playing in golf tournaments and not knowing the rules, and you would feel inferior going into that golf tournament, and I think it affected my game as a kid, just not knowing the rules, because you're already creating, you know, that mental part of the game where you feel inferior because you don't know the rules. I think.
Well, and I think to that point, golf, you're playing by yourself typically, even if you're on a team, and you know, I think there's an intimidation factor when it comes to the rules, because you see so many kids are so nervous to take the wrong relief or go to the wrong rule, and then all of a sudden get penalized. And you know, you see it in professional golf too.
You do.
There's a lot of things that you can do that are within the power of the rules that can actually benefit your game. And there's obviously the opposite too. But that cart path one is certainly one.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of opportunity. I've been a rules official in many tournaments throughout my career, and that always seems to come up.
Have you had no crazy stories like in a rules situation?
I have. I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, but one of the things I will say is we used to do that Carolinas Georgia Junior Golf Championship up in South Carolina, the best boys and girls from Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and we always had a lot of rules officials come in for that one. And one thing that always drives me crazy is rules officials are supposed to be there to help the players, not go out there and look for penalties. And there was a rules official in that tournament one year that we never invited back, that is all he was doing, was looking for kids to make mistakes so he can penalize them.
The golf police.
Yeah, and that's the polar opposite of what a rules official should be in the world of golf.
I agree with that.
So that was always a little disappointing, but golf is certainly different when it comes to rules. But it was a golf tip of the week.
It was a golf tip.
It was golf related. Yeah, use the rules to your advantage when you can.
Yes, you can.
And now, I mean, you can have the whole rules book on your phone.
I didn't even think that. You're exactly right. I didn't even think about that.
There you go. You didn't. But you can also go, hey Siri, what is this rule? And it just pops up.
But do you remember playing junior golf? And like, I totally remember you'd have the USGA pamphlet in your, everybody would unzip their golf bag and be like, Rule 13-8. You know?
Yeah, 13.1 Oh, Siri, no, I'm not really talking to you. Uh-oh. She listened. She's a good girl. Not like Joanna. Joanna just didn't listen, and that's why things ended. That is for sure. But yeah, we got Doc Egg coming up at 11:20. He's going to break down the NBA playoffs as the playing games get underway tonight, and I want to understand how that all works. We'll dive into some stuff with Auburn and Brad Law at 12:20. I've got some good afternoon delight debriefs as well coming up. There's just been some that have been kind of popping into my news feed and different things, and one of them is right side out of Augusta National.
No way.
That happened on Sunday, so that'll be a good one as well.
You're going to talk about the one that happened in Texas back a few years ago?
Time's just ticking away, Jay. Wait on it, okay?
The one in Texas? What are you talking about?
The one you had sent yesterday. I had sent.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I don't know.
Are you going with that one?
Yeah, I figured if anyone's going to read that, it's going to be you. I just want to see if you can get through the headline.
I couldn't.
Liam was like, finally. We'll talk about that. We can talk about that. We can just read the headline.
All right.
How about that? I don't know if it's actually true or not, but it says from 2016, but we'll roll with it.
All right.
We'll just roll with the headline, and I'll let you read it. See if we can get through it.
I can't wait.
There you go. Me neither. Talk about some of your summer camps you got coming up. We are creeping ever so closely to May, which means we are ever so closely creeping to summertime, and kids really only got about 6-7 weeks left of school, which is pretty hard to believe as we approach the summertime, and I can't wait for some flag football football this summer as well.
It is. It's crazy. It's coming on. All right, so June 4th through the 7th, we've got ages 11 to 14. That is from 8:30 to 11:30. And then June 11th through the 14th, ages 7 to 10. And then June 18th through the 21st, ages 7 to 10. And then July 9th through the 12th, ages 11 to 14. Golf with Jay.
You learn how to snipe those golf balls out there on the driving range.
Absolutely.
Hey, but that's a great opportunity. 2 different sessions. They can do one or they can do both in each age group. But summer camps are aplenty if you are not doing, long-time summer school and all that stuff. So, it'll be good. Good opportunities you're providing out there. And it's hard to believe we're approaching summer that quickly.
It'll be hot.
It will be hot.
Yep.
It'll be a hot show.
It will be a hot show.
Having a good time.
Yep.
He's coming up here not this weekend, but next weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Getting excited.
Dusty
It's going to be a good time. That is for sure.
You sit in front row, Ryan?
I'll sit. We may get there early. I want to be there close.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's one of those guys. Like whenever we were on a cruise and you go to like the late night comedy ones, if you sat up front, you'd always end up being part of the show, which was kind of fun. I'm an easy target.
Is he family or is it family?
Yeah.
It's pretty family.
You've watched the Netflix.
I have, but I can't remember.
Not a whole lot of potty words on there. There's some innuendos, kind of like the Inside Drive here. We try to keep it clean and family friendly, but we sneak in like Disney movies back in the day.
Right.
They'd always have some kind of innuendo there for the parents that just went right over the kids' heads. The parents laughed. Everybody had a good time.
Absolutely.
Nowadays, the kids know everything about everything because it's just all at their fingertips. That is for sure. Just real quick before we hit the break, I was going to get to this story today, but Jay, the ongoing here saga of Rashid Rice and Teddy Knox from that crash out there in Texas not too long ago. But as of yesterday, this was reported by Adam Tischer. He's an ESPN staff writer. Rashid Rice and Teddy Knox are now being sued in Texas for over $1 million in actual damages and $10 million in punitive damages by 2 people who say they were injured in a 6-vehicle crash back on March 30th, again, Texas and Dallas. The plaintiffs, Edvard Petrovsky and Erna Gromova, allege Rice and Knox deliberately raced their vehicles at speeds well beyond the posted speed limits. I think they said they were going like 116 miles an hour or something like that. That caused the 6-vehicle crash that led to their injuries. Rice, a receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, was the leaseholder of both vehicles and was driving one at the time of the crash. Knox, a football player and former teammate of Rice at SMU, was driving the other. Rice, 23, Knox, 21, are facing 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of collision involving serious bodily injury, and 6 counts of collision involving injury, according to the police. So 8 total counts each. In the lawsuit, Petrovsky and Gromova claim injuries that include brain trauma, cuts to the face requiring stitches, bruising, disfigurement, and internal bleeding. They are asking for actual damages that include medical care, physical pain and suffering, loss of earning capacity, mental anguish, and property damage. On April 3rd, Rashid Rice said in an Instagram post that he took full responsibility for his actions. The Kansas City Chiefs want to keep gathering information from law enforcement people. Andy Reid said, "We'll just see where everything goes from there and let the process take place." Knox has been suspended by SMU, which in a statement said last week they take these allegations very seriously. When we get back, we'll be joined by Steve Alexander, better known as Doc A, to dive into the NBA playoffs and want to get his thoughts on the Masters tournament. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Race to Talladega.
You are our winner for this week at 1 second flat. Now you're headed to Talladega. How excited are you right now?
Very excited, man. I appreciate it, man.
Well, we've also got you tickets for the Xfinity race as well, and you're going to be over there in a tower, my man.
Okay, thank you, man.
From PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Panama City Toyota, and your racing station. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 78 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some clouds tonight, a very light wind and a temperature of 66. About the same tomorrow, around 76 with some clouds and a wind around 6 miles per hour out of the south-southeast. Hot with a high around 76 and partly cloudy Thursday. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good?
Introducing KHS TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. All your local favorites. Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC. Plus, catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks. ESPN, the NFL Network, and the NBA Network. It's more than just sports. KHS offers 50-plus movie channels, 150-plus entertainment channels, all your favorite news networks, and watch thousands of movies and TV shows on demand. All for just $40 a month with a one-time $2 billing fee. And you can watch up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score KHS TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the TV logo. That's ESPNPC.com and click the TV logo.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the battle for a 7th straight division title is officially on.
Stretching the pitch. Swung on, lifted left field. That might get out of here. That's in the bullpen. Home run, Sean Murphy.
Tonight, it's a big American League matchup from Minute Maid Park in Houston as Michael Harris and the Braves take on the Houston Astros.
Coverage starts at 6. First pitch, 7:10 tonight on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. It's ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Do you suffer from political talk radio fatigue?
We know that under the 49% rate, the U.S. economy.
Tune into the most fun and exciting new radio show on the Gulf Coast. It's The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Still trying to get Doc Hay on the line. I know he's got a lot going on, so may had something pop up. And but I sent him a text. If he can join us, he can. If not, no worries. We'll chat with him ASAP. But Jay, the play-in games get started underway tonight. You've got the Los Angeles Lakers at the New Orleans Pelicans, the Golden State Warriors at the Sacramento Kings. The winners of those games. I think it's how it worked. They play, and then the winners of those two games then play for the 8th, that last seed there. How do you know exactly how? Yeah. I was going to ask Doc A how it worked.
So you got 7 and 8 playing against each other. The winner of that automatically becomes the 7th seed.
Okay.
Then you have the 9 and the 10 teams play, and the winner of that game will play the 8th seed.
The loser of the other game.
The loser of the other game. Winner of that becomes the 8th seed. The 8th seed would play the 1 seed. The 2 seed would play, or the 7 seed would play the 2 seed. Then 3 and 6 and 4 and 5.
Gotcha. That makes sense, because I was reading an article this morning that was talking about should the Lakers lose tonight. Obviously, and I was like, what if they lose? Are they out? I don't know how that works. But they said, we got him. Ooh, looks like we may have Doc A on the line there, Jay Handley. So we'll dive right back into that. But I know he's probably excited after his Masters pool last week to see how he did in some of them. But yeah, no, it's the playoffs are here, NBA and NHL. All right, we got him. He's 20-plus years at RotoWorld, now writing for all things fantasy for ESPN and RotoWire, inducted into the 2023 Fantasy Sports Writers Hall of Fame, and that is our good friend Steve Alexander, but we call him Doc A here on the Inside Drive. Doc, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I have been having some phone issues. I am probably not going to put in a Hall of Fame performance today because I'm on my front porch with no computer in front of me on the eve of on the day of the play-in tournament starting. So I'm going to need some prodding from you guys probably, since I have no cheat sheet to work from, but I'm here. So there's that.
And that's all that matters for us. And I was just talking to David about, trying to understand how this play-in game stuff works, and he was kind of explaining it to me. You have the one game that gets you the 7 seed, and the loser of that game plays the winner of the 9 and 10 games to get that last 8 seed there. Before we talk about NBA, though, you don't need a cheat sheet for this one. What do you think of Scottie Scheffler's performance in the Masters? Is he on a run, probably the best stretch in golf since Tiger back in his heyday?
Yeah, I mean, he's almost making it boring, right?
Yeah.
Like you take out the baby drama. Is he going to leave? Is he going to stay? There really wasn't that much drama, especially down the stretch, because he went on that late run. He almost put the one in that they kept showing over and over and over again on CBS. and he's unflappable, and he just is so. His swing and his foot movement is so weird, but it works, and he just doesn't make mistakes usually. And everybody else around him was just kind of, they were hanging around, but they weren't doing anything. They didn't have that. They didn't have that, it factor working for them. And I mean, this was as dominant as anything we've seen since Tiger Woods was doing it.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and obviously when Tiger Woods was as dominant as he was, that was kind of a time in the world of golf where it wasn't as popular, in the late, mid-'90s, going into the late '90s, and then obviously in the early 2000s, the Tiger boom took off. People started building golf courses left and right. He brought a whole ton of people into the game of golf that have never played golf before, and kind of, other than Arnold Palmer, I think Tiger transcended the game more than anybody else. But now you've got this dominance in a really strange time in the world of golf where I think Tiger's dominance was good because it brought so many people into golf and really boomed golf as a business. But do you think Scottie Scheffler's dominance at this time is good for the game of golf, or do you think it kind of makes it not as exciting? I mean, you used the word, and we talked about it yesterday, it was a little boring there on the last 9 holes of the Masters.
Yeah, and I think people who are casual golf fans tune in for the back 9 at Augusta on Sunday. Like, that's what they want to watch.
Yep.
And if there's no drama, there's no reason to really sit there and watch unless you just love to watch golf and love to watch the Masters.
Yeah.
As we all did. I mean, we sat there and watched the whole thing. You're not getting us out of there.
Yep.
But a casual fan is like, oh, this looks kind of boring. Scheffler's going to win, and I don't want to call him robotic because he's got his face and he's got his family and he's a good dude. And
he's just a good guy.
His dad had laid down on the road to make one for him and all that stuff. And so, I mean, it's hard to call the guy, I don't know, robotic or electronic or boring, but, I mean, he's just so good and so unflappable that it is kind of boring. So I don't know that it is great for the game, although he's a good ambassador with all the live stuff going on. And you just don't hear a lot of. He's not mixed up in all the drama.
Nope.
So that's probably for the best. And I tell you what, between Fred Couples and the Shark and Rory and John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau, Bryson DeChambeau, who is an actual robot, I think.
Yeah, he's got 3D printed irons getting approved by the USGA to play with.
Like, is that a true story? Like, I couldn't tell if that was like out of the onion. Cause I still can't wrap my head around what exactly a 3D printer is.
Yeah.
And my kid laughs at me. He's like, "You're such an idiot." But I'm like, I can't even comprehend that. So, with all that garbage going on with those guys, they need to get together and reunite these tours, and we need to move forward.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think you nailed it. I mean, he's a guy that there's no reason to not like him. He's an unbelievable golf player. Nothing bothers him. He's a man of faith. He's just a good golf guy, and he's dominating the sport. But people like parity. They like challenge. And the way the sport is right now, there's just so much division, and I just fear if something doesn't come together soon, you're going to lose who you just mentioned, that casual golf fan that's so important to the sport, not only in the business side, but also the rating side. All right, let's pivot. It starts tonight. You've got the Lakers at the New Orleans Pelicans. That's both on TNT. That one's going to be 6:30 our time, 7:30 Eastern time. And then you got the Golden State Warriors at the Sacramento Kings. Golden State and Los Angeles obviously playing great basketball. I don't know off the top of my head the Lakers, but I know the Warriors have won 10 out of their last 12. I read an article this morning from the Athletic doc that said, should the Lakers lose the game tonight, not on purpose, but if they win tonight, obviously they match up against the number 2 seed Denver Nuggets, and we know how that went last year. So if you're the Lakers, obviously you're trying to win every game, but is there some merit to that potentially?
I mean, maybe. I mean, do those guys really want to go play Denver? And do they, if they lose and go home, is it that big of a deal? I mean, I think it kind of is. I think they want to win and just get secured into the playoffs. And if they have to play against Jokic to kick things off, so be it. I feel like the Warriors and Lakers are both going to come out of this play in the playoffs.
There you go. I mean, it's not like, and is it fair to say that the number 2 seed is a tougher out than the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, with that Oklahoma City Thunder ended up having just a great season, and Chet, the rookie, leading them to a number 1 seed there?
Well, and SGA, don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I do not want to see the Nuggets or the Thunder if I'm the Lakers, because the Thunder are young and fast and deep, and the Lakers are old and slow, and AD's banged up. Riyad Murray is kind of carrying them, but I don't want to see either one of those teams until late in the playoffs, because Jokic he's not messing around.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously over there on the Eastern Conference side of things, our Orlando Magic locking up that 5 seed and going to be playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who do you like in that playoff matchup?
Cavaliers are heavily favored. I like the Cavaliers just because of their playoff experience, but Donovan Mitchell is not 100%, and the Magic have just been sneaky all year, and they are kind of like the new Miami Heat, like fundamentally sound, good defense, good coaching, good offense, but they're young. They just don't have the playoff experience. I feel like the Cavs are gonna come out of that one. But I'm not going to lie, I will be rooting for the Orlando Magic because of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, since we became an affiliate down here at ESPN Northwest Florida, they went on that run and got into the playoffs. A lot of people not expecting them to get into the playoffs. What about your and David Hayes' Indiana Pacers?
I love the Pacers. I've got them winning that series against the Bucks. Giannis sounds like he's out for game 1. I don't know if he can play in game 2. The Pacers are 4-1 against them this year. The Pacers are deep, and Pacers are well coached. Pacers have a really potent offense, and I've got the Pacers going pretty deep in the East.
I like it.
Doc, who's got the best looking tattoos in the NBA? Do you got a particular player that you like?
I'm not a big tattoo guy. I see some on TV, and I'm like, wow, that's really good. That looks like a photograph of that guy's kid on his arm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big nickname guy. I'm not a big tattoo guy. I'm probably a little too old to be able to keep up with all that.
Yeah, me too.
What about, I was going to turn it back to you, Jay.
Me too.
All right, since you're talking about individual people, Doc, obviously, he kind of led you to your 30-deep fantasy championship. But just comparing, always tough to compare two different eras, but Wemby and LeBron, their rookie season stats. Victor Wembanyama, 21.4 points per game. LeBron James, 20.9 points per game. Wemby's had 10.6 rebounds per game. LeBron, 5.5. Wemby had 3.9 assists per game. LeBron had a little more at 5.9. Blocks per game, 3.6 to LeBron's 0.7. Obviously, different positions, so a little apples to apples. Apples to oranges. Steals per game, 1.2 versus 1.6. And Wemby shooting better from the field, 46.5% to LeBron's 41.7. 32.5% three-point field goal percentage to LeBron's 29.0. And here's the crazy one. Averaging 29.7 minutes per game. LeBron almost averaging more than almost 10 minutes more per game at 39.5. Do you think Wemby has a chance to potentially go on and have a better career than even LeBron James?
Yes. The hardest thing to do is to live up to the hype that has been placed on you for guys like Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan and Scottie Scheffler and Victor Wembanyama and LeBron James. Like, all 5 of those guys have so much hype and so high expectations. You'd think it'd be almost impossible to exceed those. And yet, LeBron did it for his whole career, and Wemby did it for his rookie season. And we haven't even scraped the tip of the iceberg with Wembanyama yet. Like, they didn't really run plays for him. They didn't play him very many minutes. He didn't have a lot of time to learn the NBA game before he started playing it. And he's just out there getting these dad blocks and all these rounds, all these assists, all these three-pointers. And no one can guard him. No one can stop him. And you turn him loose with some good teammates next year, and I mean, all heck's going to break loose. I was all about Wemby this year.
Yeah, from the get-go, absolutely.
Every league I could get him in, I had him. And yet he still blew me out of the water expectations-wise. And it's only going to be better next year. Like, I keep saying it, but I mean, I think after next season, fantasy leagues are going to have to look at whether you can even have him on your roster in the league because it gives you too much of an advantage.
Yeah. Kind of like Scottie Scheffler in some of these fantasy golf leagues. I mean, even betting cards, I mean, you might see him disappear off of some of that stuff. But, yeah, I mean, he's just, I mean, playing less than 30 minutes a game and doing what he's doing, I think you're exactly right. Next year, they turn him loose. They get him some better players around him and really start going. I mean, he may be something. It's too bad he's not going to be on the U.S. Olympic roster as he is not from the United States of America. But it looks like Team USA is finalizing their Paris Olympic basketball roster with LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and planning to formally announce Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Ben Abayamo, and Tyrese Halliburton. Are you excited? Are you an Olympic basketball fan?
Yeah. When USA wins, I am. When they fail to meet expectations with Larry Brown and LeBron and Dwayne Wade, all those guys, it's hard to watch when they don't win. But that team they're putting together, man. Steph Curry for the first time. Anthony Edwards is a dog. Anthony Edwards is one of those guys where he walks into the gym and he's like, all right, guys, I got this tonight. We're not losing this game. And he puts the whole team on his back, carries them. I mean, we saw him with the dunk of the year. We saw him with the defensive block of the year. And he just goes out there and leaves it all on the court. I think he's going to really come into his own at the Olympics and sort of take over that whole situation.
Yeah, that'll certainly be fun to watch. Well, Doc, we're coming up on the end of our break. We appreciate your time as always, and I'll be following along on Twitter because I know you got all your predictions out there for these NBA playoffs, and we'll keep everybody updated through your updates every Tuesday at 11:20 here in the Central Time Zone.
All right, I'll see you guys next week.
Sounds great. That's Doc A. Steve Alexander, our good friend, joins us every Tuesday at 11:20 to talk things all NBA and sometimes has some fun stories with us as well. You guys are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We will be right back.
Your attention, please.
ESPN Northwest Florida reminds you it's the law. It's the law. When there's a double red flag, stay out of the water, stick your toes in the sand, grab a cold drink, and listen to live sports.
Swung on, miss, strike three.
At 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Double play!
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore Portable Building Dealer, Panama City.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good?
Listen,
Introducing KHS TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. All your local favorites. Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC. Plus, catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks. ESPN, the NFL Network, and the NBA Network. It's more than just sports. KHS offers 50-plus movie channels, 150-plus entertainment channels, all your favorite news networks, and watch thousands of movies and TV shows on demand. All for just $40 a month with a one-time $2 billing fee. And you can watch up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score KHS TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the TV logo. That's ESPNPC.com and click the TV logo.
It's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update. Presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves open up their 3-game series with a win in Houston. I'm Kevin McAlpin, and your Braves Radio Network morning updates coming up next.
Tickets for the Braves 2024 season are going fast. This season is jam-packed with great matchups. Get your tickets at braves.com/tickets.
For the first time since they hoisted the World Series trophy, the Braves returned to Minute Maid Park, and they took down the homestanding Astros on Monday night by a score of 6-1. Houston got on the board first in the bottom of the first on an RBI single from Alex Bregman, but the Braves answered with 2 in the top of the second as Luis Guillorme singled and a run scored as Travis d'Arnaud came in on an E6. Then in the ninth, Braves scored 4 times on RBIs from Orlando Arcia, Austin Riley, and Marcell Ozuna, who extended his hitting streak to a Major League best 14 consecutive. Aaron Bummer picked up the win in relief of Darius Vines, who was really good over 4 2/3, giving up just 1 run on 4 hits with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts, although he did have to settle for a no decision. Braves and Astros will continue their 3-game series coming up later on tonight as Reynaldo Lopez gets the ball for the visiting Braves. And as always, hear the action live from the Juice Box right here on the Braves Radio Network at 8:10 p.m. Eastern. I'm Kevin McAlpin, and this has been your Braves Radio Network morning update.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh news start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Jay, it was like we were at Augusta National listening to Doc A in that last segment. You heard the birds chirping, the wind chimes going on.
I wanted to ask him about his neighborhood and kind of, but we didn't get. Maybe next week.
Maybe next
when
week.
He's sitting on his front porch again.
Yeah, absolutely. You think he's a get off my lawn kind of guy, or do you think he embraces everyone and says, "Come on,
get off my lawn"?
You really think?
I think so.
I know. I feel like he's inviting people over.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll get down to it next week.
Poll question for next week, specifically for Doc A.
Yeah.
Specifically for Doc A. But Jay, the WNBA draft happened last night, so quick after the college basketball season ends. But as to no one's surprise, it was the most watched WNBA draft in history. And do you know who went number 1?
Caitlin Clark.
There you go, to the Indiana Fever, and already creating a spike in ticket sales. And I think there's going to be, out of the 60 games they play, I want to say they said 42 of them are going to be nationally televised. But yeah, and even players like Diana Taurasi putting out there on Twitter and posting that reality is coming for Caitlin Clark. Do you think it's going to be more difficult for her in the NBA or WNBA, or was it more difficult in college?
Difficult from a playing standpoint?
Absolutely.
Playing, yeah, I do. I think once you reach that big stardom, yeah, I really do. I think it's going to be tougher for her to get threes and kind of move the ball about because there's more talent. Yeah, I would think.
100%. Yeah, 100%. The best of the best, I would say.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But yes, she's will be entering as the Indiana Fever guard for them, and then of course number 2, Cameron Brink from Stanford went number 2, and then the Chicago Sky drafted Camila Cardoso. She was that center from South Carolina that was just dominant throughout the NCAA tournament. Los Angeles Sparks drafted Rakia Jackson. She's a forward from Tennessee. Number 5, the Dallas Wings, J.C. Shelton. She's a guard from Ohio State. The Washington Mystics drafted Aaliyah Edwards from UConn. And then you had the Chicago Sky. A lot of people saying she fell further than they thought, and that's Angel Reese, forward from LSU, went to the Chicago Sky. And then there's a matchup coming up between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark pretty early in the season. We get underway on June 1st, so not too far away. And the Minnesota Lynx, via the Atlanta Dream, drafted Elisa Pilley from Utah. She's a forward. The Dallas Wings drafted Carla Leite, or Leite, I don't know how to pronounce it. She's a guard. She's actually from France. And then the Connecticut Sun, rounding out the top 10, drafted a guard also from France, Layla Lacan. So do you think this big-time draft class with all these superstars coming out of college is going to create a little more spike in WNBA ratings and all that good stuff?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, Caitlin Clark's only getting paid $76,000 a year, and I think that's opening, because there's so much attention on Caitlin Clark in this draft, that's opening a lot of people's eyes to the difference between what these NBA players are being paid and what the WNBA players are being paid. But there's also a huge difference in ratings, viewership, tickets, all that good stuff. But maybe this is a time where the WNBA is kind of on an uptick. What do you think?
$76,000?
$76,000. I think she got a 4-year contract with a 5th-year option, or a 3-year contract with a 4th-year option. One of those. I don't know exactly which one.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of other professions you could be doing besides playing basketball and earn a little bit more money there.
But, I mean, you would think that they just kind of like go into the WNBA and then all of a sudden you kind of like, poof, they're gone, right? I mean, that's kind of the way. Maybe this is the year where it does.
That's what I was saying. Is it getting more eyes than ever because of the success of not just Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese, all these other top players? I mean, Cameron Brink, Camila Cardoso. I mean, they had eyes on them all season long in college, and will that translate to the WNBA? I would think so.
I would think so.
But there's a lot more attention, in my opinion, on women's college basketball, especially in the tournament, than there is essentially on the WNBA. Yeah. But it's bringing up a lot of discussion, and I think that's great for the sport, regardless of what that discussion is about. But some good stuff there. Season gets kicked off underway here not too long. All right, Jay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, June 1st. All right. June 1st. A little, what was that, about a month and a half? May, June. No, shoot, it's like a month and a half away.
I saw them tickets for some of those Indiana Fever games for like over $1,000 already.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
You think it lasts?
No.
I don't either.
I think you'll have
hope it lasts.
I agree. But I think you'll have that initial. I mean, because nobody's paying $1,000 for NBA tickets either.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of those games that LeBron breaking the points record and stuff like that. But yeah, I think you'll have the initial uptick, and then hopefully it flattens out and stays there instead of going back down.
Well, this gives all the media about 3 weeks from June 1 till about when did they really start talking about football? Like about 4th of July? I mean, is that about?
Yeah, once you get to July, it starts ramping up closer to August 1st, for sure. Yeah. But between college and NFL, of course.
Once NFL hits, it'll be gone in the wind. Yeah,
it's a good movie.
That is a good one.
Have you seen it?
Many decades ago.
Decades.
Yeah,
you're only 4 decades old.
Yeah, I can't remember the gist of that one. What was the? Does anybody know the? I don't even know.
I'm gonna skip that one.
Yeah,
I think it had like the first cussing in it.
Yeah,
did it really?
Yeah,
black and white.
Huh. Yeah.
Some kissy poos too every now and then.
Right.
You had to cover your eyes though. Wanda was like, "No, Jay, you can't see that." I got a good article real quick, Jay, in Masters theme as well, being that you've played Augusta National before. These are 10 ways to get a tee time at Augusta National. And one of these ways is how you got there. And I think it's going to be number 1. Befriend a member. Probably the most common way that people get to play golf at Augusta National is by invitation via one of the club's members, which is how you were able to play.
Yes, sir.
With its membership roll not public, Augusta has in the neighborhood of 300 members, and most are allowed to bring guests on select days of the season to play. There's a little flexibility with those invites, too. While members are required to be on property with their guests, they don't actually have to accompany them throughout the round. So start sending those LinkedIn requests.
I'm walking up 18 with Ed O'Douglas, who was a member at Augusta at the time 20 years ago, and we're walking up 18. He puts his arm around me, and he goes, "Jay, my boy. Jay, my boy, I certainly enjoyed having you here at Augusta National. You call me anytime, and we'll get you back out there." I did not.
I would have took that as literal as possible.
No, I just disagree. I think that was the proper thing for him to say coming up 18. I mean, do I call him the next day and go, Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't know.
You can be humble and do the politically correct thing, but this is, just because you played it once doesn't mean it's not a big deal.
Right.
I mean, I would have been blowing him up. Like, how long you in town for, Mr. O'Donnell?
Tomorrow morning.
You're here all week?
Yeah.
We got some more days? Let's go do this thing again.
But it's like I said, I was versed so well going into this thing as far as what to do and what not to do till I was like, I was so uptight the whole round because I didn't want to mess anything up, even though I was bombing drivers over the net onto Washington Road.
Yeah, you started your experience there at Augusta kind of on the wrong foot. But see, you were fine. They didn't kick you out.
That's right.
They asked you to stop.
They did.
But they didn't kick you out.
Befriend Augusta National member. That is
probably the easiest way to get on the golf course.
Yep.
That is for sure. And I know like a lot of the members who are alumni from Georgia and a lot of big-time golf programs, that's how they get to go play. I know South Carolina went over when I was up in that neck of the woods multiple times to play because, they have members that are alumni and they bring the team over and it's pretty cool. So a lot of people have had an opportunity to play. Number 2, befriend a Masters champion. A little tougher that one than number 1, that's for sure. In the lead up to the Masters, past champs come and play Augusta National and take advantage of their honorary membership and prep to the tournament. If you win Augusta, you get an honorary membership at Augusta National. Think Tiger Woods traveling into town with his right-hand man, Rob McNamara, and his son, Charlie, and his buddy, Justin Thomas. You become best friends or family with a Masters champ, then you, too, could make some simple trips like this one. I'll add to that you could befriend someone who's in the Masters field, too. You just probably have to be even better friends. Some first-timers unlikely to bring a second-tier buddy to join him and a member in a pre-round Masters practice round. Number 3, arguably the toughest one to make happen, become a member.
Oof.
You have to be invited to become a member, and you have to be somebody who's typically, not a lot of. That's the thing about Augusta National is you have some flashy members, but the majority of their membership is CEOs of big time companies and stuff like that. But you don't really hear about who they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's by design as well. Obviously, number 3 is certainly a very, very difficult one. Number 4, one that a lot of people when I was up there in the neck of the woods, they did this one because it's just cool to be a part of the tournament, but 2, you do get to play during Appreciation Week there each May after Media Week. Even without a connection to a member, you can be a volunteer at the Masters, and that's another way you can get out there and play the golf course. Volunteers who work a full week, you have to work from Monday through Sunday in order to get this perk, are invited to an Appreciation Day each May where they're allowed to play a round of golf. The only problem, there's a waiting list even to become a volunteer. This is a tightly guarded honor that can get passed from one generation to the next without ever going to the open market. I knew several people that were members of the club I worked at that volunteered during the tournament week, and as they got older, they were able to pass that opportunity, as you should say, down to their kids or whatever it may be. So almost more difficult than getting on the lottery for Masters tickets is becoming a volunteer there at the Masters. Number 5, Jay, you've played it, so you don't care, but I do. And this is become a media member and then get lucky. There are other perks to this gig too, like access to unlimited chicken sandwiches in the Palatial Media Center. But among the tensest moments of the week when reporters and photographers rush to check the list of lottery winners on Friday afternoon, roughly 6 foursomes worth of media, that's 24 people, win each year. Only downside is, once you win, you can't enter again for 7 years. So this isn't a recipe for regular play. I'm going to throw out their media credentials next year and see what happens.
Right.
Join Augusta University's golf team. We had Phil Shomo on, and I know this is another. I knew Josh Gregory well when he was the coach there. Then he went to SMU. But Patrick Reed's alma mater, the Augusta University Jaguars, play at nearby Forest Hills, where we had your boy Shar on, who's the director of golf there. But get invited semi-regularly to the National for outings. Other Georgia golf teams reportedly also receive invites from time to time. Georgia Tech's Christo Lemprecht talked about the team's Augusta trips earlier this month, but age and skill could be limiting factors here. Number 7, get a job at the club. Near the end of each season, club employees get a chance to tee it up before Augusta shuts down for the summer. Augusta National is a winter club, which means it's closed roughly between the months of May and October. Number 8, I had a lot of members at Mount Vintage Plantation that did this, not only because they met a lot of cool people, but they got to play it as well. And that's caddy at the club. After a season of hauling sticks around the course, caddies get rewarded with a chance to put their learned knowledge to the test at the end of the season. Plenty of these guys work summers at the prestigious clubs in the Northeast, and then plenty are nice players in their own right. We're guessing they could beat most of the members. Number 9, work for a big-time sponsor. In addition to media members, some select friends of Augusta National get to play Monday after the Masters. We're guessing that means a few folks from sponsors at AT&T, Delta, IBM, Mercedes-Benz, Rolex, or UPS, but it's tough to know for sure. The club really doesn't like to talk about this sort of thing. And then last but not least, arguably maybe the second hardest, maybe the hardest, that's qualify for the tournament there, Jay Henley. Making it to the Masters isn't exactly a picnic. It requires winning a PGA Tour event, cracking the top 50 in the world rankings, or taking down one of the world's most prestigious amateur events. But once you do, plenty of golf at Augusta awaits. And if you're a female amateur, the Augusta National Women's Amateur is for you. We talked to our champion Lottie Woad last week. You get 2 rounds at Champions Retreat, and 30 players play the final round at Augusta. But as we mentioned last week, every competitor, actually 2 weeks ago, every competitor gets to play a practice round on Friday, regardless if you made the cut or not. There are other sneakier or more nefarious ways you could fangle a few swings at Augusta, but we don't recommend those in good conscience. The security is too good around here. And last but not least, don't wear your Jason Day sweater.
Yeah. Number 11, call the golf shop.
Call the golf shop.
Hey, why not?
I don't think that's a way to get in. I think that's a way to get blacklisted and get out.
I saw some videos of young kids calling about. Yeah, I was wondering if y'all got any carts. What time would be a good time to tee off? It's a beautiful day outside.
My buddy's in town. You got a 12:45 available?
I didn't see you on Golf Now. I was just trying to see if anything was blocked off. But when we get back, it's time for the Afternoon Delight Debrief. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hi, this is Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley from the Inside Drive.
And we're seeking your nomination in the 2024 Best of Bay.
To nominate the Inside Drive as best radio show in Bay County, go to ESPNPC.com and click Best of Bay.
And remember, for a brighter future, vote the Inside Drive in 2024.
This message is funded by ESPN Northwest Florida and the Committee to Elect the Inside Drive.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Mostly sunny this afternoon and evening with a high near 78 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some clouds tonight, a very light wind and a temperature of 66. About the same tomorrow, around 76 with some clouds and a wind around 6 miles per hour out of the south-southeast. Hot with a high around 76 and partly cloudy Thursday. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Hammond, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
For the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley.
This man is destroying golf.
Broadcasting live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios.
You may be right, but our ratings are up and we're attracting new youthful sponsors.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. It's the afternoon in the beautiful Florida Panhandle. You're listening to Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Jay, what studios are we sitting in?
We're at Bill Kramer, GMC.
Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC, and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. And it's just right there at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. Lots of new vehicles, lots of new boats. If you need to get out on the water, this weekend is going to be spectacular for it. I know a lot of the local guides are, we're going to have, I know you're playing in the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce tournament on Thursday, so I think Chris Kramer's going to join us on Thursday. He was at the baseball game last night. As I mentioned, Sawyer hit a home run there in the top of the third, which proved to be the winning run. And but he was talking about his Masters experience. We're also going to hopefully have Captain Greg Gladden. He's with Complete Inshore Charters, and they've been slaying those redfish out there in the bay. And he's got a Kramer Marine and Outdoor boat as well.
Nice.
So hoping to have both of those gentlemen with us on Thursday, talk a little bit about what's going on, but also want to talk about his experience up there at Augusta National. Is going on the weekends a little different than going on a practice round. A lot of people out there, and tough to watch golf, but an experience unlike any other. There's no doubt about it. Heard you guys talking about the people calling the golf shop right there at Augusta. Now, I wonder if because Cliff's dad was a pro, right, at Augusta.
Yeah, well, Cliff's father-in-law.
Father-in-law.
Yep.
And I wonder, they'll never talk about how many people actually do call and get through to the golf shop there at Augusta National and ask for a public tee time.
I can't imagine. They may have somebody just on staff to answer that for them.
Well, I'm assuming that you got to go through a directory to get where you need to go. Maybe we can do a dial out to Augusta National on a future show.
You never know.
We'll let you make it happen.
Right.
We'll let you make it happen. But yes, go check out Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor right there at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. As I mentioned, it is boating season. The water is beautiful. The fish are biting. The water is clear. It's the wind is finally laying down a little bit. So it's nice, as last week was very, very breezy. But Kramer Marine and Outdoors, Yamaha outboard full line dealer, Yamaha Master Certified Mechanic on staff, selling Seaborn, Spider, Sundance, and Skeeter right there at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com. You can check out all their new and used inventory. If you want to give them a call, it's 850-851-0453. If you want to give Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC a call, 850-250-1403. As Chris always says, we'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Yes, sir.
All right, you ready to dive into some of these Afternoon Delight debriefs?
I've got one. Do you have one?
I've got a few. You want to start first?
Well, mine's sports related this go around.
That's fine.
And it just happened on April 15th with the Houston Rockets and
I think I know where you're going.
Los Angeles Clippers.
A man of the people, some may say.
Yes, sir. Serbian big man Boban Marjanovic gifted opposing fans a poultry-inspired prize during a Houston Rockets season finale against the Los Angeles Clippers, purposely missing free throws to trigger a Chick-fil-A giveaway. The peculiar sequence occurred with 4 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the Rockets' 116-105 win Sunday in Los Angeles. While the missed free throws could have proved costly in the game's results, the Rockets were eliminated from playoff contention before tip-off. They finished the season 41-41. Marjanovic was fouled to trigger his trip to the free throw line. Clippers fans roared as he stepped into the area and eyed the rim, remembering the team's promotion, which results in a free chicken sandwich if an opposing player misses 2 consecutive free throws in the fourth quarter. Marjanovic, a 76% career free throw shooter, missed the first of his 2 attempts. Then he realized the crowd wanted him to miss the second one to win the free sandwiches. He pointed to himself and then back to the crowd saying, "I got you." So then he missed the second one, and the rest is history.
A man of the people.
The man of the people.
A man of the people. I think you said Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A.
They were probably, that one seems like they're probably like, oh, this is going to happen. And the opposing team missing 2 on purpose. Yeah. Well, that backfired when you get further down in the season and people are eliminated from the playoffs and want to take care of the crowd. Right. A nice gesture there for sure.
This Serbian guy, man, he's big.
He's a big fella.
His ears are the size of both of my hands.
Combined. Some might say a Mr. Potato Head, but on a grander scale.
Right.
But hey, free chicken sandwiches for everybody in that crowd.
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Hey. Yep, you got to promote it.
Hey, would you have done it?
I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing on the line, right?
Except chicken sandwiches.
Yeah. And his percentage in free throws went down maybe a point or so, but
maybe not even a whole point.
Yeah, probably not a whole point.
But hey, he'll be remembered for his gracious missed 2. And it seems like if he would have made the first free throw, this wouldn't have happened. Because according to the article, he didn't realize it until he missed the first one.
That's right. That's right.
A man, maybe those big ears allowed him to hear what the promotion and the crowd was saying.
Shh, be quiet.
Yeah.
He might could hear us.
That's true. He probably can. I think he'd be excited about it.
Yeah.
All right, I got one coming from up there in Augusta. This is from theaugustapress.com. The date of this story came out on April 16th, which is today. So it came out that's right. I did find this morning. No arrests inside Augusta National despite nearby police chase. This story comes from Greg Rickabaugh. Richmond County authorities made no arrests at the Augusta National during the Masters Golf Tournament for the second year in a row. People are learning from previous mistakes made by previous patrons. But a loud police response just outside the course on Washington was heard during the live TV coverage of Sunday's final rounds. With sirens punctuating the golf course, the time came around 4:22 p.m. Sunday as fire engines and first responders rushed to a serious single vehicle rollover crash on Riverwatch Parkway. Been on that road many a time. Authorities say a reckless driver was traveling westbound at mile marker 2, left the roadway on the north shoulder and struck an embankment, causing the vehicle to flip and come to rest on its roof. Extrication was needed to remove the three out of the 4 occupants. Sheriff's Captain Scott Gay said deputies were also involved with the chase involving a DUI suspect that started on Interstate 20. According to booking records, the 27-year-old Trace Sowell was charged with DUI and reckless driving around 6:30 p.m. Sunday, just as the Masters tournament was wrapping up. Sowell was captured on Washington Road at Berkman's Road, just outside the course. He was later released on bond on the misdemeanor charges. A Facebook page for the Augusta man describes him as an owner of a local trail design company. The chase was at least the second incident during the tournament along Washington Road. Last Monday night, murder suspect Terrence Ravel killed himself after a chase down Washington Road. The 46-year-old man was being sought on the shooting death of his girlfriend, LaToya Price, on Allergon Circle, while her body was found that day. Inside the esteemed golf course, security had a mix of fans who were escorted out this week after over-consuming alcohol and violating course conduct rules, Captain Gay said. I actually know Captain Gay. He's been at Augusta National for a long time, and those were handled by the security team, Securitas. On Sunday, alcohol is served later in the day, which helps cutting down on bad behavior, Captain Gay said. Still, nobody did anything worthy of criminal charges like in the previous years, with some fans making headlines for doing snow angels in the sand bunkers or taking a handful of sand as a souvenir, which we talked about last week.
Yes, we did.
I think people are out here to have a good time, he said. People are seeing sunlight and things like that. I think they partake a little bit more than they should, as it is the start of spring. They had some that overconsumed, but not to the extent that we had to charge them. Fans were escorted out, lose their badge, which his return to a club with the description of the event. During the Masters tournament, fans have their pick of domestic light beer, import beer, white wine at their unique Crow's Nest, a proprietary blend of brewed exclusively for the Masters. Alcohol sales are not unique to Augusta National. In fact, golf and alcohol continue to make headlines. In February, an Arizona news outlet covering the Waste Management Phoenix Open, it is clear that golf and alcohol are frequent companions. Throughout the years, in this tournament in particular, has produced several viral instances of intoxicated people streaking on the course and or jumping into the water, the reporters wrote. This year, alcohol undoubtedly has made it harder to keep the balance in the slippery and mud conditions. Because the Phoenix Open is known for raucous crowds and heavy alcohol consumptions, officials made the decision this year to stop selling alcohol in the early afternoon on Saturday in the interest of crowd control. In Augusta, Captain Gay said they follow other tournaments and evaluate problems they have. We try to respond to make sure these type of problems don't happen at the Masters, he said. For the 2024 Masters, it was mission accomplished.
Yeah.
I know that was a long one. We covered a lot of different things there. Didn't know which direction it was going to go. But yeah, and he's a good golfer too. I haven't thought of this gentleman in a long time. He used to come out and play Mount Vintage all the time. And, he always talked about players would give him clubs and stuff like that, because he's been at Augusta for so long and some pretty cool stuff.
That's
there.
cool.
But yeah.
So 2 years running is kind of like the safety thing in the workforce.
Yeah. How many days since your last incident?
That's it.
There you go. You got any more?
Oh.
I got another one. I don't know if this is an afternoon delight debrief, but I'll let you guys here. Jay, your eyes are better than me. You want to read this one?
I'll read it.
Because my eyes are struggling today.
Dude, that is some small print.
I know. That's why I
read the contract, Jay.
That's why I handed him the phone. But this is kind of cool.
The question is asked, what is the laziest thing you've ever done?
I like this one.
Actively lazy.
Actively lazy 85.
Shout out Alan Sandy.
That's right. I was once on a U.S. military ship having breakfast in the wardroom, officer's lounge, I guess, when the operations officer walks in. This guy was the definition of not a morning person. He's still half asleep, bleary-eyed, basically a zombie with a bagel. He sits down across from me to eat his bagel and is just barely conscious. My back is to the outboard side of the ship, and the morning sun is blazing in one of the potholes, putting his big, bright...
Portholes, yes.
Yeah, his big, bright butt circle of light right on his barely conscious face. He's squinting and chewing and basically just remembering how to be alive for today. It's painful to watch. But then Zombie Ops stops chewing, slowly picks up the phone, and dials the bridge. In his well-known, I'm still totally asleep voice, he says, "Hey, it's Ops. Could you shift or bar pat?" "Yeah, 165, thanks," and puts the phone down. And then he just sits there squinting and waiting. And then, ever so slowly, I realize that the big blazing spot of sun has begun to slide off the zombie's face and onto the wall behind him. After a moment, it clears his face, and he blinks slowly a few times, and the brilliant beauty of what I've just witnessed begins to overwhelm me. By ordering the bridge to adjust the ship's back and forth patrol by about 15 degrees, he's changed our course just enough to reposition in the sun off of his face. He's literally just redirected thousands of tons of steel and hundreds of people so that he could get the sun out of his eyes while he eats his bagel. I am in awe. He slowly picks up his bagel, and for a moment, I'm terrified at the thought that his own genius may escape him, that he may never appreciate the epic brilliance of his laziness, since he's not going to wake up for another hour. But between his next bites, he pauses, looks at me, and gives me the faintest, sly grin before returning to gnaw slowly on his zombie bagel.
Laziest thing you've ever done.
That is lazy.
He calls up to the bridge to get them to change their course of direction just slightly so the sun gets out of his face from a porthole coming in.
That is lazy.
Is that lazy or is that genius?
Could be, yeah. I mean,
Or is it actively lazy?
Depends on where you're at, man.
That's
I think
true.
if you're in Griffin, that's genius. If you're right here in Panama City, it's borderline.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. That's the definition of it.
As I get older, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
A little bit more, not so hard, but
I want to put you on the spot. Anything that comes to mind, the laziest thing you've ever done?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't have anything off the top of my head. It'd be tough. I'd have to think about it for a little while. But that's up there. I saw that one come across yesterday. I was like, that's a good afternoon delight debrief. But I'm glad you read it because, my eyes are struggling today.
We're so spoiled in today's world. I mean, I remember growing up, the big console TV.
Oh, yeah.
I was the channel changer.
Yeah, most kids were.
Yeah.
You had to get up.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you know, maybe that whole ADD, right? We talk about ADD, but I mean,
This is the ADD segment.
Right. You focused in on a TV show back then because you didn't want to get up and change the channel.
Yeah. It's like, I don't really like this, but I don't feel like moving.
Yeah. I'll watch it. Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Now we don't even have to watch commercials.
No, I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
I will say, once I figured out on YouTube TV how to go back to the previous channel, that felt good.
Yeah.
Because if you have YouTube TV, like you have to hit the down button twice and it brings up all the channels that were on the bottom and typically but then I learned that you just hold down the OK button and it goes back to the previous channel.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Ron.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. So
on DHTV, you just use your mind.
Yeah.
It just remote controls it for you.
I dream of Genie.
There you go.
Oh, God.
That's good, though. Thank you for reading that.
Hey, you're welcome.
There was no way I was going to read that with any type of...
That was tough.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
What about Texas, man? I've been waiting on this. The clock's ticking.
Oh, Texas, huh? Oh, we talking... Were you talking from earlier?
Yeah.
We were talking from yesterday.
Just read the headline. There's no story because it's just a headline.
Did you send that to...
I didn't send it.
I
did.
You did.
But to both of us?
I think so.
Yeah, it was in the group.
You should... you and David's, our text message chat is pinned at the top of mine.
All right. Yeah, okay. All right, here we go.
Just read the headline.
Here's the headline.
That's all you got to do.
The Texas butthole tickling bandit has finally been captured by police.
Thank goodness. We've been waiting. This is from January 8th, 2016. He's been on the run.
You just got caught this year?
I don't know. You saw what I said.
What an elusive individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's better than that dog that went from California to Michigan.
I know.
And somebody commented on that, said, can't have any fun in today's day and age. I want to know how he accomplished that.
No kidding.
There's gonna be a documentary on him coming out.
Man. I'm looking at him.
I will say I'm surprised that that's not from Florida.
Looking at him. Yeah.
It seems like more of a Florida story than Texas. No offense, Texas. No offense, Florida. But yeah, we need to get you find some more details about that.
I will. I'll dig into this one.
Oh, got him. Oh, Jay. Thank you for reading that. You got through it, too. I'm impressed. I feel like if we had the whole story on that one, it'd be a little tougher to get to.
It would be. Man.
You got to watch out. Always keep your head on a swivel,
Yes,
especially in Texas, apparently. Oh, I got one more before we get joined by Brad Law here at 12:20 for all things Auburn update, though. But this is from today. This is, again, from UPI.com, one of the easiest websites to find these fun stories. Man paddles down river in Australia's largest pumpkin. When in doubt, use a pumpkin. Again, from today, an Australian man took the largest pumpkin grown in the country this year and turned it into a canoe that he paddled down the Tumut River. The nearly 900-pound pumpkin, named Tormund in honor of Game of Thrones character Tormund Giantsbane, was grown by Mark Peacock and scored a blue ribbon at the Royal Easter Show. The pumpkin, the largest to win any award at any Australian show this year, captured the imagination of Peacock's friend Adam Farquharson. Farquharson asked Peacock if he could have the pumpkin before it became feed for farm animals. He hollowed out the pumpkin into a boat he christened Cinderella and paddled it down for a mile in the Tumut River in New South Wales, while about 1,000 spectators followed along from the shore. It was a fitting send-off that the community got to experience Tormund and the pumpkin one more time in a different capacity, Peacock told the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. Farquharson said his only real motive for the stunt was to have fun and make people smile. It's something really cool to do. I've paddled that river so many times, but that's the most fun I've ever had floating down the Tumut River, he said. Farquharson earned the nickname Pop Guy the Pumpkin Man from locals. I think the worldwide fame will wear off pretty soon. I won't end up like Taylor Swift. I'll just get back to life as normal, he said. The pumpkin will now go on to serve its original purpose, feeding Peacock's cattle.
Got to be a big pumpkin to fit a human being in it.
900 pounds, Jay.
Jeez.
If you go to UPI.com, you can watch a video of him paddling that pumpkin down that river.
Didn't think pumpkins floated, but I guess we do now.
I think with being them hollow.
Oh, that helps.
Air,
yeah.
And naturally buoyant.
Yeah. I do got some bad news. That Texas story is a fake story.
I figured it was.
Yeah, from notallowed2.com.
It can be real in our eyes.
All right.
There's probably a real one running around somewhere, and you don't even know about it.
It's based
hide
on
your
a true
kids, hide your
story.
wife.
Right.
Tickle. It's Elmo. There's your opportunity to make a new Elmo.
Yeah. Tickle.
Remember when those things used to go they were like the hottest commodity there a long time ago, and they people were trying to.
Oh yeah.
And all it did was just shake there.
Yeah, it did.
Maybe we can bring it back.
Maybe.
Not going to name the title of that Elmo, but you can use your own imagination. Man, good stuff.
That is great stuff.
I figured it was. I didn't want to believe it, but I'm going to go with it's still true. We just haven't caught the butthole tickler.
He's still on the run.
He's still on the loose.
It's like I figured out with all these films and stuff. It's just based on a true story.
On a true story, but apparently this story is not true at all, so it's not based. But that's why it's the Afternoon Delight Debrief. When we get back, we'll be joined by Brad Law. He's the Director of Broadcast Operations up there for the Auburn Sports Radio Network. You guys are listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
The Coach James Hale Show, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9. We try to cover Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, all the SEC teams, and, of course, Florida State. We also look into what's going on locally every single day right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We're asking you to do us a favor. If you wouldn't mind, would you go and vote for us, the Best of Bay? We'd like to be nominated for that. Don't forget the Coach James Hale Show right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Tuesday.
Mostly sunshine the remainder of the day with a moderate breeze out of the south-southeast at 14 miles per hour, and look for it to be 78. Tonight, there will be some clouds with the temperature reaching 66. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a wind around 6 miles per hour and a high of 76. Thursday, we'll have a high of 76 and some clouds. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Spring has sprung. Vacations are next. At That Boot Store, you can dress the whole family from the youngest to the oldest with high-quality clothing at fantastic prices and look great wherever you travel. No time for vacations? Not to worry. That Boot Store offers high-quality Carhartt work clothes at affordable prices, too. Shop That Boot Store, celebrating 60 years in business. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5, and Friday and Saturday, 9 until 5:30. Next to Bill Bird Kia, 15th Street, Panama City. That Boot Store, where God is good all the time.
Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot.
Goddamn. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is how we do it. And welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. And now we are joined by Brad Law, the Director of Broadcast Operations for the Auburn Sports Radio Network. Brad, I know you've been a busy man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And, Montel Jordan, This Is How We Do It. That's one of those songs from the mid to late 90s that would still be a hit today. That's
absolutely.
Good stuff. Whoever, excellent taste in return in bump music there. No, we're doing great. It's a beautiful day. We're having a good time.
Absolutely. We're having a good show. It's DJ Davey Crockett back there behind the glass spinning those Montel Jordan tunes, bringing you in here on this beautiful Tuesday. But yeah, I know it's been a little while since we talked. Obviously, Auburn basketball and the NCAA tournament didn't go the way we wanted to, but we'll rebuild and be back ready for next year. But let's talk a little bit about football. And I know it's about a week and a half later now, but the A-Day game up there, there was some pretty good storylines, and one of those being the freshman wide receiver there from Phoenix City at Central High School, and that's Cameron Coleman. And talk a little bit about his debut there in the Auburn spring game.
I would say it couldn't have gone any better, and I know that coming from the Auburn guy, what else do you expect? But I'm trying to be objective when I say it couldn't have gone any better. You have a guy with a lot of accolades coming in, and the first catch that he makes isn't spectacular, but it's a ball nobody on the roster could have caught last year. It was slightly off, didn't gain any yardage, but it showed you he caught the ball, and a lot of guys can't even catch the ball. His second catch went for 40 yards, was a big play down the field where it looks like he's blocking at first and then goes down the seam and catches it, and it's a big gain. And from there, he made the only touchdown reception of the spring game on a very difficult catch. And then Hugh Freeze said his best effort of the day may have been on a ball that he didn't catch, where he reached behind a guy and had his arms around him and very nearly made the catch on a play that's probably a pass interference in a regular game. So I don't think his debut could have gone any better. He's done nothing now to tamp down the excitement and the enthusiasm. And everybody who has seen him play says he immediately changes the look of the receiving corps. Your number 2 receiver doesn't have to be a number 1 now because you have a number 1. And, a number 4 receiver doesn't have to be a 2 or a 3. He can be a 4. Your tight end can be a tight end. It enables everything to fit a little more perfectly into the scheme.
And kind of showing what, fair to say, showing what Hugh Freeze brings to the table from a recruiting standpoint. Obviously, Auburn's had some okay receivers over the last 15, 20 years, but really that's kind of, one of those things that they've never really had the big standout wide receiver that a lot of these SEC programs had. Obviously, Seth Williams was one of the better in the last few years, but, is this a testament to Hugh Freeze and his ability to bring in these big-time playmakers that maybe Auburn hasn't been able to get in the last few years?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that he made no bones about day one. You got to get better at the receiving room, and we saw the number of receivers that he had at Ole Miss, from a Laquan Treadwell to Dante Moncrief and some of these other guys who are big physical specimen who could go and make things happen. He did it at the tight end position, did it at the wide receiver position. He has a very good idea of the kind of receiver that he wants in his offense and the kind of receiver that flourishes in his offense. He's got guys all over the NFL that flourished in his offenses. And frankly, it was Auburn's time to get somebody like this, and I think they got a couple of them in the class. I think Perry Thompson, who wasn't in for the spring, but who's coming in over the summer, he's taller and bigger than Cam Coleman. I think he's got just as good a chance to be an elite receiver in this offense, and to say nothing of who they're going to go after in the portal. But, you saw in Alabama with Julio Jones help turn that program. He was one of the signs that program was turning in the right direction. Alshon Jeffrey at South Carolina 15 years ago. A.J. Green, Georgia, 15 years ago. And George Pickens at Georgia a few years ago. There have been some guys in the SEC that have come in and made immediate impacts as big, imposing freshman receivers. And I think it's Auburn's turn.
Well, and is it fair to say that with getting some of these guys in now that may lead to future recruiting successes? Because if these guys go on to have, a great freshman year and really contribute to the offense and put their names out there, that's only going to help future recruiting?
I think so, and I look at Alabama as the most recent and close geographic example to Auburn, in that they got Julio, and look at the run of receivers that started, especially when they kind of changed their offense a little bit in the mid 20 teens and started to go a little more up tempo and feature the wide receivers more. It's an offense that's going to feature wide receivers. You have two big, physical, imposing guys in this freshman class. You have two other guys who are more speed threats, and in Malcolm Simmons and Bryce Kane, but they're also explosive. You've gone out in the portal and gotten Robert Lewis, who was 1,000-yard receiver at Georgia State, and you're talking to some really accomplished wide receivers from power conference schools in the portal. Yeah, I think this is a big year to sort of launch the new expectation at that position in a Hugh Freeze offense.
Absolutely. And we might have already answered this question, but I was talking to my 9-year-old son, Liam, this morning and showing him some highlights of Cam Coleman from the A-Day game. And he's like, well, why has Auburn not been able to get receivers like this guy in the recent years? And I told him I was talking to you today on the radio and I would pose that question. We may have already answered it, but, if there's maybe a little more detail on that.
It's a very good question. The only thing that I can maybe put my finger on is the proven track record, is the success.
Yeah.
Because Auburn got talented receiving classes under Gus Malzahn. They did. Seth Williams played in the NFL. He was an underclassman who went early, could have used another year here, but he had time in the NFL. Anthony Schwartz, Flash, had time in the NFL. Ryan Davis wound up being Auburn's all-time leading receiver in terms of number of receptions. Auburn has had good receivers. Now, why haven't they been able to get the elite receiver? I don't know that you've had the consistency in the offense that you've had. Like, if you go in with a sales pitch and you go, I have 5 stars all over my offensive line, and I have a 5-star quarterback, and I have 5-star running backs, don't you want to be a part of that offense? Because you're going to be more productive in that kind of offense. I mean, I think that matters. And it's why offensive line recruiting and quarterback recruiting and running, it's why it all works together. Like, one of the only things that I was in line with Coach Harsin on a couple of things, one of them being the quarterback is only 1/11th of an offense. And I would go as far as to say any individual player is only 1/22nd. That's like a little more than 4% of a play and its success on the field. You've got to have everybody working together, and a really elite wide receiver is going to know that if the offensive line talent isn't there, his quarterback's not going to have enough time to get him the ball. Yeah. I think all of that plays in together, and I think you're starting to see a plan. You're starting to see proof of concept, certainly a well-aligned vision for what this offense wants to be, what the coaches want it to be, and I think that's why it's an easy sell for recruits.
Yes, definitely, and hopefully we'll continue building. You mentioned the quarterback and how important that position is. Obviously, returning Peyton Thorne there, transfer last year from Michigan State, and had an okay year. But what's the battle looking like? Is he still the front runner? I know you got two freshmen, you got four guys, so to speak, kind of competing for that job. But is it still Peyton's to lose?
Yeah, I think 100%, and I think that Coach Freeze, in his post-A-Day press conference, not only mentioned the work that Peyton had done on the field, but off the field too. I think he's more comfortable in the offense. I think that the work he's done leading some workouts probably lends it, is a part of that picture as well. And as talented as Hank Brown is, and as talented as Walker White is, and Holden Gerner has a good arm, plenty of experience and talent as well. Don't want to leave anybody out because that means you're insinuating something even though you're not. I think it's Peyton. It was Peyton's job to lose going into spring. I think he's done nothing to relinquish that grip, and I fully expect to see number one as the starting quarterback when Auburn opens the season.
There you go. But they got a lot of young guys in that quarterback room, and Peyton Thorne's been around for a little while, so that actually may bode well for the future. I know now you got unlimited transfers, all that stuff, but maybe there's still some loyalty in these guys. Maybe wait for their opportunity and get a few years with the new coaching staff, and could bode well for future Auburn quarterback success as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I think every year, whatever your room looks like, each of those guys has what's important to them. I think Hank Brown wants to play for Hugh Freeze. So, unless he gets passed by Walker White at some point, I think he sticks around. Walker's obviously a freshman coming in. He wants to play for Coach Freeze. So unless they bring in somebody next year or the year after, I think he's happy here. Holden, I think he likes being in Auburn. I mean, does he want to leave and play somewhere else? Does he have a better shot to play somewhere else? He hasn't really shown much on the field. There's just not that much to go on. So I don't know, but I know that there's not one tried and true path. There's not one size fits all narrative when it comes to the portal. Different things matter more to every one of these guys individually.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the changing landscape, it seems like day in and day out, it's nice to hear some of those sentiments. They want to play for Hugh Freeze. They want to be there at Auburn. And, in this day and age with everybody jumping around so much, you don't see that as much, but it's good to hear that culture up there at Auburn may get some guys to stick together. Obviously, something that's been Auburn for a long time, and this synonymous there is the Under Armour being the official apparel sponsor of the University of Auburn. But they made a big switch last week, I believe it was. Is there any insight you can lead to on why they went from Under Armour to Nike?
I don't really have any insight. They kind of keep us purposefully out of the loop on the details.
Definitely.
I know they announced the move last week. Now, the move doesn't actually take effect until summer of next year.
Okay.
So
there you go.
All the Under Armour gear will still be out in full force this season, basketball season, and all that. And then it'll switch next summer. I know that I have really liked all of the gear that Under Armour has ever given us or that I've ever bought from Under Armour. I have no disparaging things to say in any regard about Under Armour. And, I'm from that side of things, from the personal side of things, nothing at all bad to say. I know that the move, when it was announced, garnered a lot of excitement from previous student athletes, garnered a lot of enthusiasm from current student athletes, and most fans had a positive response to it as well. And that's kind of where I land is if Auburn thinks it's the best move, there are reasons for it. This administration is smart. This administration is action-driven. They get things done, and they have well-coordinated visions and plans to do it. And quite frankly, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be interesting to see come not this season, but the next season, seeing the swoosh on the upper left chest of those football jerseys versus that Under Armour logo. That's for sure. But like you said, probably a reason behind the move, and it sounds like it's a good thing for the University of Auburn. That is for sure. All right, I want to pivot over to the baseball side. Obviously, a lot of high expectations coming into the season. Attendance has been fantastic from what I've been seeing, setting records, but not living up to the expectations as as much as probably that the team and the program would like to.
Yep. I wish I had a reason for it, because pitching has been the problem, and pitching was what we kind of thought would be a strength going into the year. And for whatever reason, it just has not materialized. They're giving up way too many home runs. They're not getting long enough outings from the starters. They've had some injuries offensively, but I think the pitching is the major factor. Now, what I know is, now they weren't 2-13 at this point last year, but they were 5-10.
Yeah.
And they had exactly one, really good, high caliber start from in an SEC game through 15 games. And I know Tanner Bauman gave them that start this past Saturday in a game against Kentucky that they led 7-0, but ultimately lost. Do they have enough time to turn it around and make a regional this year? I don't know. I don't know that they do, but I know you've got a head coach with 30-plus years of coaching experience and a wealth of knowledge when it comes to pitchers. You've got Scott Foxhall, who's a volunteer assistant on the staff with decades of experience with pitchers. And you have Everett Tiefert, who is new, but he relates well to the players, and there have been some growing pains there. And but he's got, he's big on analytics, and you've got this marriage of the youth, the experience, the wisdom, the innovation, and a group that won't stop trying to figure it out. And, I keep that in mind, and I go, this is the toughest league in the country. And I know that D1 Baseball put out their new top 25 yesterday. Auburn has played so far in SEC play numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 13. So there is no harder road unless they had played number 5, but I don't think that's an SEC team. So there's no tougher road in the conference that anybody has faced to this point. Hopefully the effort and the will to continue to work, a professional mentality, pays off with more wins on the second half of the schedule. It's still tough, but it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, and 13.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes when you're playing in the SEC, baseball is arguably one of the best conferences out there in the country, and it's, like you said, just a tough road. Got a couple minutes left, Brad. I want to pivot to one of our favorite topics here, and the reason why we're called the Inside Drive, and that is golf. And going to the positive side of things, currently in the last coaches poll there with the Bushnell Golf Week poll, they are currently ranked number 1 in the country and are currently playing over there in Mississippi at a great golf course, Mossy Oak Golf Club, and currently leading the tournament with the final round going on today, and obviously the SEC Championship over in Jay's neck of the woods at St. Simon's Island at the Seaside Golf Club gets started on April 24th, next Wednesday. A lot of optimism and a lot of excitement coming out of the Auburn golf program with some high expectations going into the postseason.
They're not only leading, but now I checked, this is a couple of hours ago, so I'm sure this has been updated since then, but at one point, the individual scores, the top 5 were all Auburn guys, and 6 of the top 7 were Auburn guys. Josiah Gilbert, Carson Baca, Jackson Coyben, J.M. Butler, and Brendan Valdez, all in the top 5. That was your top 5 as of a couple of hours ago individually. So, yep, as a team, they are terrific, and each one individually brings their own strength to it. So I think they will be the odds-on favorite at the SEC championships. They are ranked number 1, which means that they would be your odds-on favorite for the NCAA championships at this point.
Absolutely, and I just pulled it up on GolfStat right now, and they're through holes 6 through 9 and already 12 under par today, minus 47 so far for the tournament. But yes, you've got first, tied for second, tied for second, tied for second, and then 2 tied at 7th. So pretty impressive stuff from the Auburn Tigers on the golf course side of things, and looking to ride right into that SEC championship and maybe bring home one of those and a good shot at the national championship, which is not at Greyhawk Golf Club this year. I believe, I don't know the name of the golf course, but a new one in California that I don't think anybody's ever played. So as good of a shot as ever to maybe bring home one of those golf national championships, with, in my opinion, are one of the hardest and grueling ones to get because of how many rounds of golf you do have to play.
Yeah, for sure. You better have a deep team. And as we saw, yesterday, the Auburn women were the 2 seed. They finished stroke play in second place. And then Megan Schofield, who's the reigning U.S. amateur champion, all right, big deal. She just had an off day. And as a result, she was one of the 5 competing in match play, and Georgia wound up beating Auburn, and you just don't count on that. So you got to have a team. You got to have a little bit of luck go your way, but you got to have a deep enough team that if 1 or even 2 players just don't quite have their best game on a particular round, you've got enough to make up for it.
Yep, which that's golf in a nutshell, and it's tough, that's for sure. Brad, we appreciate your time as always. Covered a lot of different Auburn sports there, and look forward to talking to you again. And have a great rest of your week.
Thank you very much, guys. War Eagle.
War Eagle. You guys are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents
Wrestling Against Cancer, number 9.
Saturday, April 27th at Bay Haven Charter Academy. In the main event, it's a tag team showdown with Exodus versus Mike Steele and Mr. 850. Then, Callie Mann and Kelly Clark in the Wrestling Against Cancer Championship bout. Plus, exciting women's wrestling. Doors open at 5:30. Bell time 6:30.
For more information, ESPNPC.com.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Hey there, employers. Are you in need of reliable and skilled workers to fill your staffing gap?
Look no further than Labor Finders, your go-to full-service staffing solution.
At Labor Finders, we offer a wide range of skilled, unskilled, and administrative personnel for all your employment needs.
Whether it's short-term projects or long-term placements, we've got you covered. Our diverse pool of talent is ready to tackle any job.
And guess what? We're always on the lookout for new talent to join our team.
Partner with Labor Finders today and experience the difference. Visit our website or contact us now to find your perfect match.
It's time for a new kitchen from Kitchen Designs. Kitchen Designs in Panama City Beach and Santa Rosa Beach offers full-service cabinets, countertops, and flooring, plus cash and carry cabinets available the very next day. Kitchen Designs has been family-owned and operated for over 20 years. Visit their showroom at 7934 Front Beach Road and on Lynn Drive in Santa Rosa Beach. Or call Kitchen Designs, 850-775-4150.
Welcome to the Inside Drive, the next big thing.
It's a big, huge, giant deal.
Sports betting, huge reactions, your calls and real-time coverage of the stories you're following. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. No, Caveman Rick, it was not P. Diddy. It was not. He was not the Texas you-know-what bandit.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up on our Facebook page. It felt right to mention it, Jay. I know you were concerned.
Well, we've process of eliminations.
There's one eliminated.
It's like
one eliminated.
That leaves a lot more out there that still could be it.
Yes.
Just about 7 more billion.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
I think we can eliminate him as well. I think he's gone and passed, and I think you can take him off the list.
All right.
But you know who we can't eliminate?
Who?
You.
No, whoa.
But we aren't in Texas. We're here in the great state of Florida. So
He's just looking for Joanna, still trying to find where she's even at.
That's right. She's living there in the digital world.
She is.
In the clouds.
In the clouds.
Yeah.
Ironically, she's in charge of weather.
She is. She does a mighty fine job.
Mighty fine.
Mighty fine.
Mighty fine indeed. It's mighty fine weather out there as well.
Yeah.
A couple local things reported yesterday by Scott Rossman. The Bay has hired Mike Memon, if I pronounced that name correctly, as the school's boys basketball coach. He replaces Mike Duffy, who resigned recently, going back to Georgia, I believe, for some family things. He moves back to Bay County after 3 years at Choctaw. He's been at Bozeman and Mosley before, and you can check more details details out on that later today at WJHG.com. Again, that's Mike Memon, or Meeman, however you pronounce it.
I believe it's Memon.
Memon. That makes more sense. By Menon. He used to play hockey in Menon Arena, ironically, in Morristown, New Jersey. The home of Gillette and Menon.
Menon. What is Menon? What is Menon?
It's a company that makes deodorant and all that stuff.
Is it? Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
They do it for men and stuff.
Very, very close to the Mars M&M factory as well.
Oh, okay.
Fun facts here today.
Yeah.
Also, it's officially official. Your 2023-2024 Arnold Marlins boys soccer team is the Max Preps national champions. So it's officially official now. With the completion of winter soccer last week throughout various parts of the country, the Arnold Marlins are officially the Max Preps national championship. Not only a historic achievement for Arnold High School, but an historic achievement for Bay County as a whole as well. So congratulations to the Arnold Marlins boys soccer team. Some of the local sports coming up tonight on this beautiful day. Get out there and support these high school boys and girls as the weather has turned very, very nice, and even more reason to get out there and support these young men and women here in Bay County. Starting on the varsity softball side, you've got Bay traveling to Rocky Bayou Christian. Varsity baseball, Niceville will take on Mosley. Bay will take on Franklin County at Franklin County. The Niceville-Mosley game is at Mosley. Back to softball. Chipley will take on Bozeman at Bozeman. Staying in softball, Rutherford will take on Mosley at Mosley. Varsity baseball, North Bay Haven will play Holmes County. That's at Holmes County. Softball side of things, North Bay Haven 17-2 will take on Walton at Walton. And last but not least, Rutherford baseball will travel over to Walton High School on the baseball side of things. Good luck to all those teams there. And I know we're getting close to the end of the regular season. Next week it winds it up, and we'll move on to the state tournament as well. And that means one thing, Jay, school is getting close to being over.
Yes, it is.
That is for sure. I know you're not a big NHL guy, but if you want to watch some exciting hockey, tonight is the night to do it. You've got some big-time games where almost every playoff position is locked up on the NHL side of things. You do have some things going on, and of course, David Hayes' Tampa Bay Lightning has already locked up a playoff position as they've been playing very well the last couple months. Number one wild card seed there. But you've got four teams competing for that second wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. That's the Washington Capitals, the Detroit Red Wings, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Caveman Rick's Philadelphia Flyers. 89, 89, 88, and 87 are those points. The scenarios, Jay, tonight, the Capitals can make the playoffs as they have the tiebreaker and everything, but they have to have a win tonight against the Flyers. So if the Capitals beat the Flyers tonight, they lock up that last wild card playoff spot on the Eastern Conference.
And a win equals 2 points?
Correct.
All right. Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now a tie, that equals 1 point?
Correct.
All right.
No, there's no ties.
Oh, there's no ties. Okay.
There's no ties. There's no ties. But if you go into overtime, you get a point, regardless if you win or lose.
Gotcha.
2 points for a win, 1 point for going into being tied in regulation is what I should say.
Okay.
And then obviously, you get 0 points for loss. If the Red Wings can make the playoffs, we talked to Michigan Eddie last week, and Detroit was on a run throughout the middle of the season, and then kind of fell back to reality, but still have an opportunity to clinch that last wild card spot there in the Eastern Conference. That's going to take a win against the Canadiens tonight, as well as a loss by the Capitals to the Flyers. Again, if the Capitals beat the Flyers, Caps are in. All this other stuff doesn't matter. And then, of course, the Penguins can get in if both the Red Wings and the Capitals lose tonight, and then they beat the New York Islanders tomorrow, and the New York Islanders beat the New Jersey Devils last night, who've been eliminated for a while, to clinch their playoff spot there. And then the Flyers also have an opportunity to get in as well, but they need the most help as they are sitting down there with 87 total points. They need to beat the Capitals tonight in regulation, and the Red Wings and Penguins both get 0 points, which means they can't go into overtime because they will get that 1 point. So a lot of different opportunities there. And then your playoff seeding will be set, and the playoffs will get started next week, which I hope you watch some.
I'll try to.
Because the NHL playoffs, you can ask David Hayes, that's peak. But these are going to be like playoff games. That's why I suggest if you have an opportunity to watch any of these tonight, I would certainly get out there and do it.
Lock in, Jay. It's appointment TV.
Well, you got to take my channel changer away from me. That's what you got to do. Yeah,
There's a poll question: channel changer or remote control?
Right. I called it channel changer as a kid.
What about? Oh,
is that what your nickname was?
Hey, channel changer, get up and change that channel. What about a clicker? Did you call it a clicker?
A clicker. I've heard that one too. Yeah.
Any other remote control, channel changer, clicker?
Oh man. Yeah.
I always called it the changer.
Yeah, the changer.
Short and sweet.
Right.
I always called it remote.
Remote. I think it's passed down from generation to generation.
Not too many generations either.
TV's only been around for, I don't know, what, 50, 60?
I guess you just say tree them generations.
Yeah.
I just remember when I was 8 years old, I was living out in the country, and they decided to run cable out to the country. It was a huge day.
Absolutely.
I mean, Mom and Dad was like, "Hey, they're running cable out here." I'm like, "No way!" And
it's a top.
Now we get excited if they run fiber.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, watch you some NHL. I'd love to discuss it with you.
What about the series? How does that work? Is it a 3-game, 5? It's a 7.
Very similar to the NBA, except not with this playing game stuff that the NBA just recently started doing.
I got you.
Yep, 7-game series, and it's intense. And it's overtime goes and goes and goes and goes until somebody wins.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But it should be a good playoffs. You got New York Rangers clinched the President's Trophy yesterday. You know what that's for?
No.
We've talked about it before.
President's.
He's got to jog all the way back almost a year in memories to find that one.
No, that's not happening.
That's true. Yeah, you don't even remember what happened yesterday.
No, I don't.
That is the best record and most points in the. Actually, it's most points scored that NHL season. The Boston Bruins did it last year. New York Rangers did it this year. Currently has 114 points. And but you remember what famously happened to the Boston Bruins last year?
What happened?
They lost to the Florida Panthers in that 7-game series after they went up 3-0.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And that's what makes hockey playoffs so awesome.
Yes.
Speaking of hockey, the Boston, you had Boston University versus Denver during Masters Week. I think it was either Saturday and Sunday. I watched the third period, and Denver ended up winning 2-0 in that game. But man, that goalie played outstanding. Had one of the best saves I've ever seen by a goaltender, and he was just taking a barrage, and Boston could not score on him. So Denver won another NCAA national championship in hockey.
Is that Boston College?
Boston U.
I did not know Boston U existed. I had no clue.
Yeah.
They got a football team and everything? Or?
I don't know if they have a football team, but they have a hockey team. BC and BU are they've been going head-to-head for a long, long, long time.
All right.
Up there in Beantown.
So Denver took it.
Denver took it. Again, Denver College. You probably never heard of Denver College
I have
either.
not. No.
DU.
That's where Coach Prime coaches at.
Oh, come on. No,
come on.
Man. Come on.
Almost had you. Almost had you. All right. Some real quick. Who do you think's leading the top of the MLB power rankings through the Athletic going into this week?
Ooh, through the Athletic.
Dang. You say dang at least once a show.
Oh, come on. That's low.
Dusty Slade's going to say it next week. Isn't he kind of a dang guy?
Dang. More of a daggum type of feller myself.
It's just how I communicate. Braves.
No.
Dang.
There's 2. That's actually like 3 or 4.
Yeah, the Braves are 2, right?
Yeah, they're tied for second, yes.
Okay.
With the Los Angeles Dodgers.
They got pinstripes on the jerseys. No names on the back of the jerseys.
Oh, Yankees.
Yep.
All right.
Last week they were number 3, but now they're 12-5, and they're number 1 right now in the power rankings. Again, this is just the Athletics power rankings, and very, very early on in the season, but off to certainly a good start. Kind of doing exactly what David Hayes was going to say: have a great year and then collapse in the postseason. It's kind of what everybody was looking for, unless you're a Yankees fan, that's for sure.
I think they're exceeding expectations, though, as far as it's almost flip-flopped of what you were going to expect from them, scoring a lot of runs and giving up a lot of runs, but they haven't been scoring a ton of runs, but they haven't been giving up a ton of runs either. So it's been interesting to this point. And then when they get Garrett Cole back, they're going to be even better at least every 5 days.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I've been paying a lot more attention, Jay, because of the Fantasy Baseball League. And
I got 4 guys going today.
4 pitchers going today?
Yeah.
Woo!
Finally got my first win last week.
I know. That was actually good. Not that we got a long way to go, but you winning last week helped me out because there's 3 of us on our side tied for 2-1, and only one person left in our league that's 3-0, Nick. He's doing good, but I'm learning how to play. It's so different than football. It's a whole different ball game. You got to be looking every day. And do you pull in a pitcher that's starting? I had a pitcher last week that I pulled in. I think it was like -28 or something like that.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Whoo, that backfired." I still ended up winning that week, thankfully, to another pitcher move.
-20. Well, what's -28?
-28 points from one pitcher.
Oh,
not like golf.
No, not good.
Yeah,
not a good thing. That is for sure. It really seems like, at least in our league, you live or die by you're pitching.
Okay.
And the hitting is obviously important. Your batters can do well. You don't have as much potential for losing points, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun paying attention, and people you gamble and you don't, but it's a whole different ball game besides fantasy football, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
I'll say one of the things that I've come to like about it being about the individual players rather than the categories is it makes it more fun. Like when you've got a guy pitching, you can watch that game, and like you could watch that when it's categories, but if a guy that you're not watching, it just doesn't balance out the same way, because it's more like you're trying to be a manager when you're doing the categories and trying to get everything lined up, and it's a little bit more difficult. So I think that playing with the individual players is more fun.
Yeah, I haven't done any of the other ones, but I would agree with you. I mean, and I know like St. Louis Cardinals fans, I got a couple good friends that are big Cardinals fans, like, yeah, Sonny Gray had a great game last night, and I was paying attention to it because it was so important. He got me 22 points, and it's interesting.
So can you pull a pitcher in mid-game out of your fantasy?
No, that would be awesome.
That would
be. You're trash today. Get out of there.
Come on in. That would be another element of fantasy. But would you still have to take the points that he lost you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Pulling in relief pitchers in fantasy.
It'll come.
There might be a way
I'm sure
to
that
do it
there's
now.
ways that like where you get you have to get 9 innings every day or something. Yeah, it would be that would be tough.
And fantasy baseball, has it been going on longer than fantasy football?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I know some people, the handwritten fantasy leagues and stuff like that. And I know my uncle who he's been doing fantasy baseball for as long as I can remember. And I feel like some of that was before really digital fantasy got involved.
Right.
But, the people running that, that's a lot of work.
Yes, baseball was, it started in the 1960s.
Come on, fantasy baseball in the 60s?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
The 60s.
I mean, baseball kind of has always been at
like
the
Aaron
forefront
Bearden said
of,
yesterday with card trading and all that. Baseball's always been number one, and obviously number one in fantasy as well. And that's kind of the pioneer of fantasy sports. It seems like.
I'll take Babe Ruth.
There you go, man. That'll be like accusing Michael Jackson of being the Texas Tickler, but whatever.
Yeah, hey, there you go. I think Babe was gone by the 60s.
Yeah, he probably was.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Don't forget to go to ESPNPC.com. Click on the Best of Bay. Vote for our 3 great local shows here. And speaking of those local shows, coming up at 4 p.m., the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be back tomorrow with Keith Fleming, and he's going to want to talk about the Masters. You're listening to The Inside Drive. Y'all go out and enjoy this beautiful Tuesday.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hi, this is Jack Patterson inviting everyone out for a night of exciting professional wrestling. It's wrestling